Ladies and gents, St. Helens, the Saint, Alan Tabern. Alan Tabern tritt an gegen einen Mann aus den Niederlanden, 30 Jahre alt, die aktuelle Nummer 35 der Welt, war schon 4-mal im Alexandra Palace mit von der Partie. Die Rede ist von The Machine Gun, Jermaine Wattimena.
The trumpets blow.
Herzlich begrüßen UL.
Hugh What When Where finally introduced to the stage, as are Jermaine Wattimena and Alan Tabern, in what is going to be a rat-a-tat-tat game of darts. The machine gun Jermaine Wattimena perched just outside the top 32 in the world rankings against Tabby, a man from St. Helens, who he's been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I mean, he's been around for years and years and years. 51 years young, still competing in the PDC. Won his tour card back this year after 2017 playing without one. And I was surprised, actually, when I looked at the head, they've actually met 3 times before, these two. So they've both got wins in their meetings against each other. The winner of this one will face Kyle Anderson, the number 15 seed, the Australian number 2, in tomorrow's second round when the seeded players enter the fray. Already seen a pretty ominous performance from James Wade. Looks to be carrying on where he left off last weekend. Might take something very, very special to stop him. Will we see anything of that nature from Wattimena and Tabern? Chris Murphy alongside me, Dan Dawson, in the commentary box for this one.
There we've had a win for the machine. Will we for the machine gun?
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, first leg to make, to throw first, game on.
Who has been playing some decent stuff in the last 6 to 12 months. He reached a Pro Tour semi-final right at the end of last year. And he has put in some good performances. We get the advantage of working at all the floor events, and every time I've seen Jermaine Wattimena has been more than competitive in every match. Up against the Saint, the leading light of St. Helens darts, the one that led where others have followed since.
24.
Michael Smith, one of them. He'll be in action here tomorrow, number 3 seed.
Stephen Bunting on the way tonight, of course, another St. Helens base thrower.
85.
Dave Chisnell, one of the seeded players.
He's in action tomorrow.
Yeah, we already know that Chizzy
97.
is going to be facing Darren Webster after Darren closed the afternoon session with a 6-2 win over Jan Dekker.
It's the annual meeting between this pair, isn't it? They've had one in each of the last 3 years.
97.
Tabern won the first one back in 2015, but Wattimena's got wins under his belt the last couple of times that they've locked horns.
105. Alan, you require 130.
Well, Tabern, 420s will give him a dart at the ball. There's 3 of them. Oh, 6 will give him double 5. Lovely stuff from Alan Tabern.
Second leg, Alan.
Nothing wrong with that.
Game on.
Break a throw.
Yeah, he made that look easy, didn't he? He, of course, back on the Pro Tour in 2018, having lost his card for the previous year. Managed to come through Q School on day 2.
Done well in qualifying for these as well, hasn't he? He didn't play last week in Leverkusen, but we will be seeing him, obviously, now. And we'll find out how far he can go in this tournament, but he is safely through to the next 2 European Tour events. So a very strong start to his European campaign. And with the way that it's structured nowadays, the European Tour events are the only criterion which decide whether you make it to the European Championship. So just qualifying for them, getting some ranking money under your belt earlier on in the year can put you in a very strong position
100.
where you're not forcing yourself off, I've got to make a final day late on in the year just to find myself at the European Championship.
100.
And it is one of the tournaments that a couple of the big names usually aren't there, because we know that Gary Anderson is opting out of European Tour events, and
Barney hasn't qualified for the first couple of these, so we're not sure how many times we'll see him.
When you get there, opportunities can open up, and Alan Tabern is a former European Championship quarter-finalist.
45.
Well, it's the man who made the semi-finals and arguably should have made the final last year, Kyle Anderson, who awaits the winner of this one. Kyle throwing a 9-darter and missing match darts against Michael van Gerwen in that semi. 9 scored. Just a quick look at Jermaine's score. Decided he didn't need to go 12 and bullseye.
Yeah, all 3 of the
31.
Euro Tour events that Tabern has qualified for this month. Plenty of darts action for you to watch.
100. Alan, you require 40.
Got away with that, Alan. Jermaine was on a finish that didn't even require the bullseye, but he decided not to go 12 and bull. Leaves himself double top. Double 10. Oh no, and he's left himself 5.
You require 56.
Well, that's in the 48.
He
lands the double 4.
Jermaine Wattimena.
Wattimena levels up.
Third leg, Jermaine to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, we've got a Players' Championship weekend in Barnsley. Next
60.
weekend. Then it's the German Darts Open in Saarbrücken. And the following weekend, the Austrian Darts Open. So a real busy time for these players, but
100.
Yeah, a whole bunch of new venues on the Euro Tour, the European circuit. I mean, this is a new one itself. We have been in Munich before, but we've never been here at the Zenith
100.
Kulturhalle.
and as you were saying, it's a chance for those players who have qualified for the tournament to perhaps get a bit of ranking money between them and the players who haven't.
100.
Well, that's it. One good weekend, and you can go a long, long way to securing your place.
Yeah, well, we're talking about the European Championship.
108.
But of course, the ranking money applies to the Pro Tour Order of Merit, to the main Order of Merit, so chances to boost your qualifying chances for other big tournaments as well.
26.
The 180 from Wattimena has left him on 161.
Scrappy, but Alan's quite some way back. 275, so he's struggling to leave a finish. Yeah, 105 would have got him to one. Oh, and it's
25.
Yeah.
Jermaine, you require 117.
Oh no. And he's just called 25.
Sorry,
40.
Jermaine, you require 117.
Understandable mistake there. One had 25 points, threw a dart, dislodged the 5, and 20 scored.
I'm not sure how much it will matter in this leg, but Alan Tabern correct to ask for it to be corrected.
105.
But we're going to have to get the VAR out, like we could have been a Pro Tour final a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's genuinely a thing now. The PDC officials say they would rather take a minute or two's break and consult the video evidence if it is available to try and get a decision correct.
And that was the Darren Webster dart that dropped out against Michael van Gerwen in Wigan.
Yeah, in a final, no less. Don't have any of those issues with Darren this afternoon. His win over Jan Dekker.
100. 137.
Wattimena's turned this one around after the flying start from the Saints. That 130 check out in leg one. But he's missed a hat-trick of doubles since then. And Wattimena's not missing much in that department.
43.
Yeah, same section of the draw this is the next game we've got on, Josh Payne and Michael Rastovich. That's for the right to face the number 2 seed Peter Wright in the second round, but that's the same little bit of the draw here with these two and Kyle Anderson.
100.
Yeah, one of a handful of Austrian players appearing today, Michael Rastovich. We've also got Christian Gödel
100.
later this evening. We had Roby John Rodriguez. And of course, Mensa Suljovic will enter the fray tomorrow.
Happy time for Austrian darts. Look at that, what a setup shot from Alan Tabern. 171 to leave double 16, but he might have this snatched away from him anyway because double 14. Oh,
107.
the machine gun nearly finding his mark.
One of those cases where the 1-2-1 would have superseded a 1-7-1.
In
the end, he earned Alan Tabern the chance to finish, and he does finish.
Game on.
Walk-on goals, seemed impressed with it.
85. 81.
There's got a real party feel to this event. Easter weekend's a big deal here, isn't it? And of course, Bayern Munich just down the road.
140.
I don't know if that game's finished or
they were 3-0 up after half an hour.
They're going to claim the title.
They're going to claim the title. Yeah.
And Michael van Gerwen is in attendance.
80.
Yeah, very impressive, the Allianz Arena. We came past it on the way here last night. But this place isn't so bad either. I mean, it's basically 100. A former factory, but the way it's set up, it's kind of reminiscent of how Ali Pali used to be set up. So it's quite long, you know, right at the back, quite some way away from the stage, but you've obviously got the big screen.
100.
But it's a similar sort of size, similar sort of crowd numbers. If anything, it's been just as lively, if not more so, at times over the course of today,
100.
particularly when Max Hopp was in action this afternoon and when Nathan Aspinall and Steve Lennon were firing in 180s off the lampshade.
Yeah, some match that was, the real standout affair of the afternoon session by some distance.
60. Germany requires 76.
Wattimena, well, he can still do this, but he needs a treble.
A long way off.
31.
Just get that feeling with Jermaine sometimes. He's so quick, even when he's moving to different sections of the board. If he has a poor first start, you're not surprised to see a poor one follow it. He just seems a bit sort of shaken.
It's almost as if he's throwing the dart while he's still moving his hand to adjust the position. And then you're open to missing big segments.
45.
And you do not want to miss the big number.
Well, he hasn't missed it on this occasion,
29.
but he has missed the double, and that's handed Alan Tabern a chance
40.
to break his throw.
Yeah,
he knew that it was a big moment.
Game from the fifth leg, Jermaine Wattimena.
Second time that Wattimena has pinned double 4.
Game on.
Holds on to his throw, but only just. Nip and tuck game this. I mean, you know, I'm not sure who you reckon is favourite to win it. Obviously, Jermaine has the advantage of the extra leg at the moment, but it's effectively on throw. They're both averaging around about the 85 mark. Well, there you go. Very, very little in
60.
it.
As with all the players in action on the first day of European Tour events, they've had to come through their respective qualifiers to get here. Tabern in the UK qualifier beat Mickey Mansell 6-5, and then a 6-1 win against a legend of the game in Robert Thornton.
60.
Yeah, former Euro Tour winner, of course, the Thorn. And the European Darts Open, last week's event, but back when it was held in Dusseldorf at the Maritime.
100.
That was just before he went on to win the World Grand Prix, wasn't it?
It was. It's almost as if you watch the Euro Tour, it gives you little clues about what's going to happen in major tournaments, isn't it?
Well, Michael van Gerwen and Peter Wright dominated the Euro Tour last year, and Peter Wright obviously won the UK Open. Van Gerwen won plenty, but
60.
I found it interesting to note that neither of those players hold between them the top
40.
two in the world, the World Championship, the UK Open, the World Match Play, or the World Grand Prix. Just an example of the plethora of talent that is on the PDC Tour right now. There are several
89.
genuine contenders for titles on the big stage, including the European Tour stage. And although only 3 men won it last year,
58.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see the title shared out a little more in 2018 on the Euro Tour.
Well, particularly as Michael van Gerwen said, he is going to duck out of some this year. We don't know how many, and we're not even sure if he'll stick to his word.
But I think, on the evidence we've seen so far, he's ducking out of more floor events, and he's played the first couple of European Tours, hasn't he? I think he can't resist, to be honest. He sees it as his best payday in terms of hours worked.
Exactly. And that's the thing with Michael van Gerwen. He looks at these things. They're in mainland Europe. They're easier for him to get to, and there's bigger money available. Well, you don't get much closer without pinning the double, and Wattimena could open up a two-leg advantage here. Ball. Oh, there it is, the machine gun.
Well, he never considered going for the treble 18. I think he may have considered going for the double 18, actually.
I like that as a shot. Double 18 would have left double 16. As long as you don't end up throwing it out the board entirely. You know, it's a safer shot than going for the treble 18, because you've got more chance of slipping into the 1 or the 4 segment. You don't get a shot at all for the leg.
Well, he played it safe, didn't he? If you miss inside, and you still get a dart at the ball.
100.
Well, that's been the difference so far. 14% plays 44% in the checkouts.
91.
It's meant that Wattimena is able to steal that last leg away from Alan Tabern. He's not played his best. I don't think he's played as well as we saw from him last weekend, when he won his opening game with an average of round about 90 against Johnny Clayton, an injured Johnny Clayton, had to be said. The ferret was hobbling around. And then he averaged pretty much the same against Alan Norris in the next round and was beaten 6-4.
96.
Down to a finish first, but it's a big one.
Hasn't been beyond the last 16 of anything in 2018, but one of his runs to that stage was at the UK Open finals. It included a 6-0 win against Andy Hamilton, a former UK Open finalist. He beat Steve Beaton there, Stephen Bunting, as well, before eventually losing out to Gary Anderson.
138.
Everybody was losing to Gary Anderson that weekend. Wattimena has left the double 4. He's already pinned it twice, and Tabern can't take out the 147, so you fancy this might well be 5-2, and it might break the St Helens man's resistance here.
Yeah, it's been good over that side of the board, Jermaine Wattimena. 3 times he's landed double 4.
And it could well be a 3rd win in a row against Alan Tabern in their annual meeting.
100.
So Alan Tabern early on in the break just
85.
sat on one of the sofas reading a book. Didn't see what the book was. It's not often you see the top players in world darts expanding their literary experience. Certainly not in events. Some of them I'm not sure can read.
We speculate to what the book might have been.
140.
I mean, we can do if you like.
They might wish he'd have been practicing in the room next door at the end of this one. Maybe some motivational quotes or something down that line.
Possibly. Might have been
88.
reading some of the thoughts from other great St Helens dart players. Maybe some great speech from Cheers or some philosophical musings from Michael Smith.
140.
Yeah, it's not a How to Drive by Michael Smith.
No, well, he doesn't understand a car's word, does he? As per his interview in the Premier League the other night.
99.
Hope he's still in first gear when he arrives tomorrow.
Yes. He doesn't understand how mobile phone networks work either, does he? But
140.
doesn't stop him being an absolute world-class dart player.
74.
Well, 74 to stay in contention, because if he misses this, it's match point for Wattimena. He doesn't miss
The
it.
8th leg. Alan Tabern. 9th leg Jermaine to throw first. Game on.
But now Wattimena has the darts.
Yeah, good strong 14 dart
60.
leg there from Alan Tabern. If he can produce 3 more of those, it might well be enough. 14 or 15 darters probably be good enough to win these
100.
legs. There you see. We've only had 114 and 115 darter. They've both come from Tabern. Wattimena's been
140.
bumbling around doing 6 and 7 visit legs, which, you know, it's been good enough so far, but it's not going to terrify anybody. Tabern raises his game just that little bit. Could turn this around.
140.
Wattimena, as you mentioned earlier on, just outside the world's top 32, 35th in the
60.
main order of merit, but some distance behind James Wilson, the man that's in 32nd spot. So
Yeah, he's looking at about 30 grand, isn't he? So even if he won this weekend, he's not going to suddenly jump into the top 32.
81.
I'm just looking at that area. There's not that many players in front of him who've got
139.
who seem to be on the decline. It's kind of the players that are climbing the rankings. The only one is the one right in front of him that's been dropping down, is Vincent van der Voort. For the likes of Dobie, Wilson, Reyes, Jamie Lewis.
121. Jermaine, you require 102.
Well, this is for the match. But Tabern has a chance here
43. Alan, you
to
require
claw
59.
himself right back into contention.
Well, for a break of throw. Single 19. Leaves double top. Double 10 had problems with this
49.
and continues to have problems with it, and that might be that
Jermaine, you require
for Alan
59.
Tabern.
Yep, same equation. Same outcome.
49.
Almost exactly the same,
Alan, you
the
require
darts
10.
are those two targets. 2 match darts missed by Jermaine Wattimena. Tabern started this match off with a double 5 checkout.
Game shot the 9th leg.
And he
Alan
keeps
Tabern.
it alive with another one.
Well, it's been an exhibition of double 4 and
10th
double
leg,
5
Alan
hitting.
Yeah,
to throw
really has.
first. Game on.
But Wattimena will feel he should be over the line by now.
Not a bad time to produce your first 180 of the match.
Not
Not a bad time to produce your second either.
Well, both players kicking off with maximums. Excellent
100.
counter visit from Jermaine Wattimena. Wants to get the job done here and avoid a last leg decider.
100.
But it's neck and neck in this 10th leg.
Well, .01, the difference in the averages.
60. Alan, you require 122.
Well, it's advantage Alan Tabern in this leg now. Wattimena would need to produce a huge one. If this doesn't go, it might go. Double 7.
115.
Well, he's only going to get 2 darts when he returns. If he returns, should I say.
92.
These
Alan,
can be
7.
tricky. Single 3 for double 2.
Games from the 10th leg.
Well, it's another 14 darter, isn't it? And we're going all the way.
First time today.
And the first time that this Wattimena Tabern clash, the annual meeting between these two, has gone the distance.
Wattimena on throw, not finding a treble in his first visit.
82.
Jermaine had 2 darts to win this 6-3. And he might be about to have the darts stolen away from him in this last leg. Alan Tabern.
Oh! 135.
Well, he's seen a 5-2 lead disappear.
96.
Maybe Tabern was reading some kind of Great Escape tale that he's drawn inspiration from.
60.
Well, if he does complete this comeback, I suggest he goes and reads another chapter before his game against Kyle Anderson tomorrow, because it's worked.
96.
Well, how does this particular story end? Tabern here should leave a finish, so should have the first opportunity to win this match, since, of course, in this deciding leg, Wattimena has squandered chances earlier on.
121.
Wow. 103 for Alan Tabern. He started this game
43.
with 130 checkout. Wattimena, a poor visit there, has just relieved the pressure. Tabern may feel he's got 6 darts from 103. He can do it in 3. Comes downstairs. Doesn't get the treble 17 he was after. There is a sniff of a chance for Jermaine Wattimena, but he's going to have to produce by far the biggest checkout of the match.
Well, he missed the double 14, but was it a 1-2-1 earlier on?
Yep.
2 treble 20s would have given him the same target. But it looks like the chances he missed earlier on may well be the only ones he was destined to get. Double 12.
To steal it away. Wattimena can't look.
12.
Agonising misses from Alan Tabern, who dragged himself back from 5-2 down, and the chance has gone for Jermaine Wattimena.
84.
Well, tense tungsten
Alan,
here.
you require 12.
Can Alan Tabern compose himself? Double 6 for a place in round 2. Down for double 3. This is getting nervy, and he's missed the opportunity.
No score. Jermaine, you require 24.
A ridiculous end to this one. Jermaine Wattimena to squeak through to round 2.
18.
What on earth is going on?
He missed 2 darts for a 6-3 win. He's just missed 3 darts for a deciding leg win. Tabern has come back.
Well, he's trying to compose himself, but this isn't going to help, is it? Because the crowd are going to build up a crescendo of noise. In the end, Alan Tabern gets the job done. An unbelievable finish to our first 11-leg contest of the German Darts Grand Prix. Both players had, well, plenty of darts at double to win that one. A nervy finish, and Jermaine Wattimena may well wonder how he will not be in the second round. It's Tabern who goes through to take on Kyle Anderson. He'll be back tomorrow. We'll hear what he thought of that with Elmar Polka, and then we'll be back with Josh Payne against Michael Rastovich.
Kyle Anderson ist sein morgiger Zweitrundengegner und Jermaine Wattimena mit einem dicken Hals hier von der Bühne gesprintet. Autsch. So, und der Saint hockt sich erstmal hin und gibt in Ruhe Autogramme. Das ist gut so. Ja, Alan lässt sich jetzt Zeit. Das ist auch gut so. Und ich glaube, der ahnt gar nicht, dass er hier ein Interview geben soll. Alan, 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 Alan. Please, no problem, no problem. Congratulations, congratulations. What a comeback, huh?
Well, I'm playing well at the minute, and obviously that wasn't well. But I think I deserved it over the way the game went, because I think I gave him a few legs, early doors, so he giving me back. So it's kind of fair, so I think I deserved that match, so I'll take it.
Where have you been actually the last couple of years?
Well, to be honest with you, I fell out of love with darts, so I didn't like it very much, and then Barry Hearn said it was free. So I said, oh, go on, I'll have a game then, you know. So I went Q School, won me to a card, and that's why I'm here now, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. Kyle Anderson's the next one tomorrow?
Sorry?
Kyle Anderson is waiting tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, Kyle. Oh, well, that's going to... I'll play better than that. I'm going to have to play better than that. But that's no disrespect to Jermaine, because he's such a good player. But you've got to be in it to win it. So the fact that I'm back tomorrow is good. So
it's good to have you here, Alan. Thank you very much. Alan Tabern. Der sagt...